my feet walk far and they walk fast. Still they got an itch for heavenly grass.
So in the workshop we're currently doing in Paris, a couple of people are doing a scene from Tennessee Williams' Orpheus Descending. Val and Lady, a scene fairly close to the beginning of the play. And in it, Lady doesn't know Val's there, and she actually pulls a gun when he comes in. It's Lady's general store. And she's quite a strong personality. She gets angry quite easily. And the pharmacist doesn't want to come over at that hour of the night and deliver the pills. So she gets mad at him. She gets mad at the pharmacist on the phone. And meanwhile, Val just shows up. She pulls a gun on him while she's talking to the pharmacist. And when she realizes that he's not threatening, that he's there to pick up his guitar, she lowers the gun, but she's still talking to the pharmacist. But then she's put on hold, and Val relates a story of why he's there, how he got there. And he says something really rather shocking about a certain girl in the town thinking he had a sign hung on him, mail it stud, like a gigolo. And Lady knows who this young woman is he's talking about. And so the whole situation is really rather funny and unusual, to say the least. And yet, most actresses who do it are so concerned with the objective of getting these pills from the pharmacist, and they're angry, and they're yelling in the phone, and they're going, yeah, to Val, so why are you here, what happened? That they just listen to it, and then the pharmacist comes back on the phone, and she yells at the pharmacist on the phone some more, ignoring what Val just said. But actually, an advanced actor can have both things going at once, as we often do in life. It's like, especially the way this guy's dressed, the way he moves, the whole thing is so unusual in this town. And what he's saying is so kind of funny in a weird way. That it's like she can be yelling at the phone with the pharmacist and still looking at Val and breaking into a laugh or trying not to laugh now and then, or just look at him in shock or wonder. But you're able to hold more than one thing at the same time, emotionally and physically. And this is much deeper acting. You can hold 5 things at the same time, actually, and then you get sometimes amazing performances when you're able to do that. There's rarely a scene where you have that opportunity, but when you do, you have to build up each layer. Every possibility has to be there, and then see what happens. React off your environment, react off the other actors, and allow it to just be. Allow any impulse to be expressed. Allow the impulses to clash with each other, so that sometimes you don't even know what you're doing, but that can be very interesting. It can be very interesting. And this is I know people who like to play objectives make an allowance for all that, but it makes it more difficult because you are so focused on the particular objective you're on at that moment. Even though they'll say, well, yeah, but you switch and this and that. Why even go there? If you're an advanced actor, you already know the objectives without having to spell them out. They're pretty obvious usually. If they're not obvious, then deciding what they are beforehand can limit you. You may have, and they're often based on psychology, which I don't like to use. I mean, Hamlet, for instance, is extremely psychological case, right? Psychologists love to analyze Hamlet. But they come up with a million interpretations. What's the right one? Oh, there's no right one. There's 1,000 Hamlets. Yeah. But instead of psychologizing, which makes you go again on a certain line, a certain trajectory, because Hamlet himself, brilliant as he was, and Shakespeare himself, brilliant as he was, didn't even know the word psychology. That wasn't in their vocabulary. They had an instinctive feel for it. And yeah, I'm sure there was a little bit of philosophical discussion about it at the time, but not nearly like there is today. And he wasn't basing it on a psychological reading per se. It was much more intuitive. And so as a character, you want to come at it that way. If the psychologist afterwards says, see, it's an Oedipal conflict, or it's a this or a that, great, fine, maybe it is. But not because you decided that. In fact, it's so overwhelming, the possibilities in a great character like that, that to decide is to limit. You know, the origin of the word decide, C-I-D-E, in Latin actually means cide in French. It means to kill. Suicide, homicide, genocide. So when you decide, you literally kill off all the other possibilities. You've narrowed it down to one thing, which obviously we, as human beings, we have to do sometimes. But in art, you have to be very careful about that. You have to make sure instead of decisions, I like to make discoveries. Because you can make a discovery and make other discoveries. In fact, you almost always do. You discover the fourth planet from a certain star that's 40 light years away has an Earth-like atmosphere. And then you discover there's a certain magnetic field around it. Then you discover there's water on it. So you keep discovering things about it, which may lead to the idea maybe there's life on that planet. But you didn't decide there was life on that planet. You just kept exploring it. You kept discovering things. And it's the same with any art, especially acting.
My feet went for a walk in heavenly grass. All the day the sky shone clear as glass. My feet went for a walk in heavenly